Welcome to Loco Gringo Mexico, where we can take you beyond the usual on your vacation. Each week we talk with amazing locals who know the Riviera Maya and Yucatan like only locals can. Get real tips to real places, insights on the local scene, culture, and cuisine from a local's perspective. So pour yourself a margarita, mezcal, or tequila, grab yourself a comfy chair, and let's get the show going.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Loco Gringo Mexico. My name is Kay Walton. I'm your host, and I'm thrilled that you're here, that you've tuned in, because we have a great show lined up today. We're going to be talking to a woman who is the heart and soul behind the Tulum Food, Spirit, and Wine Festival that's coming up. Her name is Chef Diane Dimeo. She is rapidly becoming an internationally renowned celebrity chef, and she actually has been living here in Tulum for the last few years, and I'm so thrilled that our paths crossed, and I just absolutely am wowed by her every chance I get to talk with her. Chef Dimeo has put together a wonderful event. She's going to tell us all about the activities, the chefs she has lined up, and it's all for a really good cause. Chef Dimeo, actually, some of you probably know her from the Food Network. She has a syndicated online cooking show, Chef Dimeo. She's also been on Food Network's Beat Bobby Flay, the ABC Fox network, The Taste, TLC Discovery. You may have saw her name. She's been written up in New York Times, the LA Times, New York Magazine, Esquire, Travel and Leisure. So Chef Dimeo is just a woman of just huge accomplishments and a heart that's probably bigger. She has put so much thought and heart into this upcoming food festival to not just be an event for foodies, but to be an event for everyone. It encompasses all the wonderful things that we have in this culture here in Mexico, and it's a very welcoming event. So there's going to be fun for everyone involved, and it's something you don't want to miss. And I would say that once you hear this show, if you don't have plans to come down to Tulum in the upcoming weeks, you may want to try to grab a last-minute flight because you don't want to miss this event. This episode is brought to you by Playa. You know, lots of people ask us for information and help when it comes to real estate, whether they're looking for retirement, an investment property, or maybe they're looking to relocate to the area. And we refer them over to our friends at Playa. The folks at Playa we've known for years, and they'll make sure that you, the buyer, are fully protected and informed when it comes to buying real estate. So if you're looking to buy a piece of paradise, check out our friends at buyplaya.com. Diane, muy buenos dias. How are you?
Fine. How are you today?
I'm fine. Man, I'm so excited we get to chat today because I know you have the Tulum Spirits and Wine Festival that's coming up today. Did I miss word food in there too? There's going to be food there, right?
Just not a bunch of drinkers going to be there. Yes, hopefully there's some food.
And there's some food there. Diane, now I want to hear all about the event, but first I want to hear, I'm just so glad we got the introduction. Tell me and all of our listeners where you're from, and the question that comes to my mind is, how the hell did you end up in Tulum?
That's a good question. I still don't know how I ended up in Tulum, but I'm from Los Angeles, originally born and raised, but ended up in New York for about 25 years of my life. And I think my education, both on the streets and in the restaurants in New York, led me to want something a little more simpler. I had a couple of stressful events in my life. Well, that's okay. A couple is being fair, but a lot of stressful events in my life in New York. And one of my friends was actually living in Playa del Carmen, so I decided to go visit her. And I said, wait a minute, there's something to this whole beautiful Caribbean lifestyle. So I actually rented a place in Playa del Carmen with the intent of re-renting it out to vacationers, which I did. And then I ended up with a pneumonia back in Brooklyn for 3 months. Yeah, it's one of those things where you're lying in bed going, well, now, I can sit here and struggle as a chef and open restaurants and work my ass off and not get paid a lot. Or I can say, go screw yourself and pick up my bags, go to Playa del Carmen and live comfortably and not care and rent out my condo. So I said, on the scale of things, what seems to be the right case scenario? So I literally, after I got better, I picked up and just left. I literally just went and moved into the apartment in Playa del Carmen. I was there for about a year, and I told myself I would never, ever live in Tulum because Tulum was so quiet compared to Playa del Carmen, and I was still getting my New York on. Do you know what I mean? I still had a little. It is. Yeah. And then all of a sudden I found myself going, wait a minute, this Tulum has something to it. And honestly, as anyone who's ever lived in Playa del Carmen or Tulum, there is a very magical, and I don't want to sound like one of those people who is extremely, I don't want to say hippie either, but there's something very magical and powerful about Tulum. And for those people who are actually soul searching and wanting to get to the bottom of things within themselves, Tulum is the place to do it. You spend 99% of your time isolated, but in a very beautiful place. And so I came here soul searching, I guess that's the best way, and I've not left.
So does that mean soul searching hasn't stopped?
It means I found myself, and unfortunately or fortunately, Tulum is one of the major. Well, no, soul searching never stops. That's it never stops. It just doesn't.
And if you're still looking in the recesses of Tulum, you never know. But I'm just amazed now. What have you done? You've been in the Tulum area for a couple of years. What have you done here on the coast? You're involved with Maya Koba, aren't you? Yeah,
and it's funny because I came here to work smarter, not harder, and to try to redefine myself and as a chef. And somewhat of a public figure and lay low. But what ended up happening is I kind of did the opposite of that. And Maya Koba reached out to me because I wanted to build a cooking school in El Pueblito and asked if I would take on that job. And I said, okay. So I ended up from ground up designing their whole interiors, curating all the classes, and building them the cooking school in El Pueblito and Maya Koba. And in that time frame, I was asked to participate in the Maya Koba the first edition of their Gourmet and Golf, and then their beach festival, and then their Gourmet and Golf again. And then after that, I was asked to consult at a restaurant called Eden in Tulum, and then at Hitano, which I turned down. So I've been kind of rolling with the punches still, but I'm in the Caribbean in paradise, so it's hard to complain about busting my ass in paradise.
I hear you. I don't get a lot of sympathy if I go, I'm working, and everybody's, yeah, but the beach is right there.
Yeah, they're like, you're living the dream, you're in paradise. I'm like, well, Tulum still has its issues. The water does you run out of water. You don't get gas all the time. There's babanos that bite you and you blow up like Mickey Mouse hands. I mean, there's a lot of things. It's just not paradise.
I know, but people like to think that we sit in the beach with the margarita in our hand all day.
Yes.
And that's all we do.
Well, they can keep believing that if they'd like to.
I try to perpetuate that myth.
Always. I think 90% of my posting on Facebook and Instagram are fake. They're just like reused photos of the beach and a tequila in my hand. But usually I'm out working and sweating somewhere doing something. Seriously.
Now I'm gonna start following you on Instagram now so I can keep track of that. So.
The lies, the actual lies.
I'm a liar, pants on fire.
We know what you're doing.
Yes, we do. So tell me what you have been doing. Really, because I could talk to you forever, and I know today's focus is really I want to hear about how you came up with the concept for the Tulum Food, Spirits, and Wine event, and how that's come together, and what inspired this vision.
When I first came to Mexico, and I'm going to be completely honest here, when I visited Mexico City, and I was stunned at the beauty, at the culture, and the food scene. And I was a complete ignorant American who only understood Mexico from spring break and what was available to me from the United States. And that being said, that was not much. That was tequila, bad tequila at that, cerveza, Corona beer, as well as maybe tacos and bad versions of that as well, right? So I was asked to do a consulting job at the Amante Resort, which is in Punta Mita, and it was then that I saw seafood from Baja, fresh, huge chocolate clams and shrimp, and just a world of gastronomy of cheese, salamis, wines that really showed an artisanal quality of Mexico that people, including myself, really don't know about. And I became enamored with Mexico and all of its beauty, and thought to myself, why doesn't the world know about this? Why are we so ignorant and lackluster and only see these places that we might go on vacation for a very minimal amount of what they're capable of doing? And it became quite a frustration for me. So when I moved to Mexico City for 2 years living there, I approached Discovery TLC, who I've done a show with, and wanted them to partner up with me to do the first Food and Wine Festival there. And that was quite a challenge for me because I had no idea what I was doing, and I was kind of hoping that they knew what they were doing, but they didn't because they were hoping I knew what I was doing. So it became quite a cluster beat fuck of just whatever. And so then I was asked to go to Mazatlan to try to develop a food and wine festival there, and it didn't work out. And after living here in Tulum, I thought to myself, wait a minute, Noma just came here and they sold tickets for $750 per person. Okay, no disrespect, but none of that money went back to the locals. And I thought to myself, this is a beautiful town that no one understands that these locals really do have lives and live very poorly. You know, the indigenous children go to bed 80% hungry. There's animals running around the street with no care. You know, how do I combine sustainability, locals having some type of financial sustainability, and bring the world to a location that's already building as a gastronomic entity and create something to where we can also show off the artisanal qualities of Mexico? And so that was bubble in my head. The only issue was when I came up with this idea, I had no idea how to administer this. And it was a very challenging and frightening, seriously scary thing for me, even from writing my first sponsorship letter. So it wasn't something that I came on like, I know what I'm doing. You know, it was nights of sleepless behavior and saying you've opened up restaurants from ground up and pulled together front of the house, back of the house, designed it, did all the financials. This is something you can do. Just shut up and do it. But much like a tattoo, when you start to get your first lines on your arms, you cannot say, oops, kidding, sorry, kidding, I really am not going to do it. You have to follow through, you know, and so that's my story in a nutshell. But
wow, and the dates are coming up now. It starts when? November 9th, is it?
It's November 9th to the 12th, and I've been very fortunate to have some of the most amazing chefs, Mike Magali from the United States, Felipe Donnelly, Christopher Lee, Ryan Poli, great chefs from Mexico, Jesus Hivaja with Televisa, Alfredo Villanueva, Lula Martin del Campo. They're all coming in. They're participating at different hotels and different restaurants with their menus. They're purchasing from all the local vendors because they're not allowed to have any foo-foo fancy ingredients. They have to really cook Mexican food using people from the actual town. And it's a 3-day event that goes from street food tours to restaurants that are having lunches, a liquid love tasting that will be at Coco Hacienda that's free. We just ask for a donation. And then there's major evening dinner events for both nights at different restaurants and locations.
Wow. So how did you approach this great lineup of chefs? How did you approach them? Did you say, listen, I have this idea, and do you want to join in on this ride with me? Or was it a big effort to get them to commit?
You know, oddly enough, and this is something that I kind of knew, I did know, all you had to say was Tulum Food and Wine Festival. And they're all like, yes, please. Not kidding. Because they know that Tulum is, it's one of the top destinations of the world in terms of the majestic, beautiful beaches. But it's also becoming a gastronomic mecca. And so who doesn't want to participate at being at the beach and cooking? What they didn't realize is that, well, you're not really cooking in an air-conditioned kitchen, and you don't have linen cloths, and well, you might not get your product, and you might get bitten by tons of mosquitoes. You know, they don't have,
We don't have mosquitoes. No mosquitoes.
No mosquitoes.
No mosquitoes. Shh,
No,
don't tell anybody. No mosquitoes.
No mosquitoes. But but they all knew this. And like, the great part is, I said no divas allowed. You're not getting flown in first class. This is what's happening. This is the ingredient list that you have to work with. And they're like, sign me up. Because what is the chef's favorite thing to do? Most real chefs, they want the challenge. They want to be creative with the challenge.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've been very fortunate, and I've had some key players like Mike Bagali, who's been very wonderful in introducing me to Ryan Poley. Kat Odell, she's like the Bravo star. She has 2 books, and she's the editor for Eater. She's also brought on Mike Bagali. So I mean, there were a few key essential players that everything kind of fell into the position that they were supposed to fall into, that helped make the catalyst for everything to work as well. I mean, you just, for anything, right, you just need a couple of good names: Patron, Aeromexico, Mike Bagali, and everything else falls into place. It's just, or Tulum, it's just kind of one of those things. That's it, Tulum, one word, Tulum.
Absolutely. I just chuckle because I just was going through some old pictures of Tulum in the old days, carrying a case of empty beer bottles and the old post office and everything. And I go now and I'm just like, wow. It's amazing, the transition. There was one ATM. Cabs used to cost you 50 pesos or whatever, even less, to get around. Ana y Jose was a small white little boutique on the beach. Oh no, I remember San Francisco was the only store, and it was not much of a store back in the day. I still can remember the smell of San Francisco. This grocery store, not the city. Anybody who's listening, we're talking about a grocery store.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember.
It's changed a lot. And the thing I love is, Tulum has always, and I have talked to now baby boomer were hippies on the beach way back in the day, where Maya Tulum was and Zama's on the beach, and it was called the Chalk Mule Campground. Volkswagen buses and tie-dye were optional. And there was a vibe back then. So you're looking at like the 70s, early 80s, and Tulum still has a vibe. The vibration's a little hot, maybe a little higher, maybe not as soft, but it still has a great vibration.
Yes.
It's very dynamic, and I think it still attracts a beautiful set of people, creative people who are very mindful.
Right.
Who care not only about the environment and the development, but also who, more important, equally as important, is the people of the area, the locals, whether they're, people who have the tiendas, the little shops, if it's the people who are working at the hotels or the restaurants or anywhere. It's the people that is much important. And I think, I don't really explain a lot my motivation in doing this show, but it was basically because I see these corporations coming into the coastline, and I always use this example: Victoria's Secret on the Quinta, in Playa del Carmen on Fifth Avenue, the big Victoria's Secret store, and I got to shake my head, is that the people are what makes the color of this fabric of Mexico and the Yucatan Peninsula. And I really want to capture it's your stories. It's everyone's stories, no matter what walk of life they've come from, to share those stories, because that's what people want to hear. We are all part of the fabric of this area, and it's a very important piece, because without all of us, some of that magic's not going to be there.
It's true. And it for, Playa del Carmen has changed quite a bit. And for Tulum, it attracts a certain type of person, whether they're just visiting or they're living there or have vacation homes there. It attracts a certain type of person where we have, you can live outside of the box. There's no boundaries in the sense of creativity, like you were speaking about, is just open, and normal dynamics of what you think would happen in if I can use the word real life, they don't exist here. It's a different set. It's a different mindset. Everybody's just like, yeah, okay, this is hip, this is cool, let's do it.
Yeah, very, very accepting and open-minded, and it's one of the most beautiful aspects of the people who live here in the area.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely been a good catalyst for me in terms of wanting to do the festival here and working with the people that I have been, for sure. So.
Now, can you tell me what are some of the events or activities during the festival that are not to be missed, that people really should be, you want to get there?
I think for me, and I'm a little biased, but I can't be because I love everybody. I know, fair airplay. The opening ceremony, the inauguration in the Palacio on Thursday night from 7 to 9 is a do not miss. There is, well, let me back up for a moment. The whole event, what I did from going from the Tulum Food, Spirits, and Wine Festival, after the series of natural disasters that have happened in these past 3-4 months, it led me to create an attachment to that, which is chefs cooking for a cause. Because most chefs do not, I'm not going to say that, a lot do. But what I would want to do is this festival, for every year that it takes place, the chefs coming on are cooking for a cause. And this year's proceeds, or the festival's proceeds, will go to the Sisma earthquake victims of Mexico. Beautiful. Okay. Yeah, and a portion of that, once we start to have enough proceeds, will go to help the dogs in all the neighboring areas of Mexico. But we will always pick a crisis in whatever country it is to give our proceeds to. I mean, for me, that's real, right? And so whoever's coming to this festival, I'll call it the donations, but whatever events they're buying into, this is what their money's going to go to. The chefs don't get paid. Any chef who wanted to get paid was like, delete, click, because that's not what this is about. Come and spend some time, do something good, So the inauguration on Thursday night is, we have all of our sponsors giving out drinks. There is a donation that we ask for, like 50, 60 pesos. You get a ticket and you can drink. There's going to be street food vendors that you buy straight from the street food, whatever their charges. And usually it's 15 pesos for a taco. You have all the arts and crafts, the artisanals, the people who do like little bags and jewelry that are always on the streets will be there selling their stuff. Music, mariachi, other things will happen. So it's a great party for everyone that's invited, right? As well as on Friday and Saturday from 2 to 4 at Hacienda Coco, what we call the Liquid Love Tasting and Pool Party. People can go. It's, again, a free event. They can donate 50, 60 pesos to have some drinks. The restaurant there themselves will have a very small menu if someone wanted to buy some food to have for lunch. They can swim. They can have a good time. Music. These are, some of the low-costing events that I want people to try to enjoy and be a part of. But then, you have the Mike Bagali, who's doing a 12 taco tasting course with mezcal at safari out of a, Airstream with a fire.
Wow.
You know what I mean? These are things that you got a 3-star Michelin chef coming to do, and he's cooking bare minimum. Of course, there'll be a lot more. We have an agave gin being present there. We have great mezcal being present. We have all artisanal whiskey, everything that's being done to service that. And then, we have Felipe Donnelly doing the lunch at Ahau, who's actually cooking straight on coals. So that's like something that's really interesting. And our locals, there's a 45% discount for all tickets. And by locals, I mean all of Mexico vacationers and people who are coming down and staying in hotels.
Wow. Great. Well, that's just super. And that's super. What's in just striking contrast to so many events that happen pretty much anywhere is that, especially in a tourist destination, is that they're going to go, oh, tourists, you're going to pay more. It's one thing, they get the local price, but tourists usually are paying a premium because they're tourists. And this is just absolutely beautiful that if you're a guest here in the area, you're getting the same local rate as anybody else. That's just fabulous.
Well, because what I've learned is that just because someone is a resident in Tulum doesn't mean they're filthy rich, number one. They're still on a budget. They are. Seriously. Number two, locals who want to experience anything that has to do with culture or gastronomy, they're also on a budget. And people who are coming on vacation, well, hey, you're on a budget too. Yep. I mean, at this point, I guess it should be safe to say everybody's a 45% discount because this point, it really applies to everybody, right? So, I mean, but at the end of the day, it's a festival where everyone should have a win-win feel, and it's about sharing. And as long as I can walk a check over into Mexico, into Puebla or Guadalajara, and just say, here you go, even if it's $2,000, it's $2,000 I didn't have, right?
Beautiful.
So that's what this is what it means to me. I want people, it's about people experiencing the artisanal culture in Mexico and knowing that what we have here is friggin' amazing and just as good as France or anywhere else that we would walk into. So if I charge $10 per person, at least you're experiencing it. Get on the plane and come on down, right?
And what's also very nice, usually you look at food events and all the foodies go, but this event is more, it feels more encompassing. It's the artisans, it's the musicians, it's everybody. So you don't have to be a foodie,
correct,
to go and have a good time at the event. Just come and maybe you find something to buy, maybe you won't. Just be involved with the energy of all the activities around. And that's just great, because I think some people who are not foodies get intimidated going, oh, well, I don't know anything about food, so it's not for me.
And
this is for everybody.
Exactly. And we even have a vegetarian restaurant in the city that will be providing 2 days, Friday, Saturday, and Friday night dinner, all innovative vegetarian cuisine, a vegan, and so to me, that's amazing. And next year for May, I didn't have time, but we will have all artisanal cheeses coming in from local producers, the charcuterie, and that is inclusive of prosciutto and everything else coming in, just a bunch of stuff. So it'll be more, again, the artisanal factor, that ties everything in. So it's a building process. It's a no sleep building process.
And it's, I'm just amazed. You've put this event together in what, about 5-6 months? Less.
I started the process about four months ago. I really kicked it into gear about 2 months ago, and I pulled on help about a month ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kudos to you. And I don't, I would assume you don't have a big staff for this. So you're the chief cook and bottle washer in this game, right?
Website developer, everything. But I have some amazing people, don't get me wrong, and volunteers who are working day in, day out for free.
Beautiful.
And that's only, at this point, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. 5 people. Yeah, but you would not know that on the outside.
Wow. I'm excited about this event. I can't wait to be there. It sounds like just a good time, no matter what time whether it's for the opening ceremony or any time during that weekend, that there's just going to be a lot of exciting things happening, and just really with a good, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say that good moral behind it. It's just necessary. It's a good sense of community.
That's a good one. Yeah. I think it's something, I think you just put it into words. That's it. And yeah.
And in community, that goes to all the people as we carry in our hearts, all the people in Mexico City after the earthquake and everything like that. It's a way that people can come down, attend the festival, have great food, great time, great drinks, of course, and make a difference for some of the folks in Mexico City after this recent event, which is just simply tragic.
And Puerto Rico also. If I had enough money, that would go there too. I mean, there's so many natural disasters. Yeah, I can't with these places.
Yeah, so many. And I was in Houston for the flood and that hurricane, so that was. It's been a wild time around the world, and I just actually my heart goes out to everybody who's had some sort of experiences. The fires out in California and Sonoma. We're speaking about wine and spirits.
Oh gosh,
the wine is now spirit. As they're dealing with that in California, but. Don't mean to digress, but it's just that we carry out we carry this stuff in our hearts, and it's always really nice that we have these types of events, because there's so much more to the Riviera Maya than just the beaches and, there's a sense of community and compassion that we have for everybody that touches our lives. So.
And thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, no,
podcast.
Thank you. Now, how can people get tickets? We've got a couple weeks yet here before the event, about 2. Where can we get tickets?
You can go to the website tulumfswf.com. So it's Tulum Food, Spirits, and Wine Festival, but FSWF is shortened. And you can see where all the events are listed. You can see all the chefs and their bios. And then there's a buy ticket option. And you're able to get your discount tickets online through the buy ticket option. And then also the tickets, just everyone knows the tickets go through PayPal, but we also have a separate entity with Square Up where we take credit cards outside of PayPal. We just need to know that that's what you'd like to do, and we'll make sure that everything gets taken care of.
Excellent. Now, tickets on site, are they available? Then they just show up?
Good question. Tickets will be available on site, but the hard part about this is that certain events will be closing out because they're popular, and so you might go and you will not have you won't be able to get into the seating. That being said, not all places will be like that, but for sure there's a good handful that will be sold out. So it would be best to try to reserve, even if it's a day before, go online and see what's going on, or shoot us an email so that we know that you're going to be there, that we can somehow make sure that you're on the reservation list and you're walking in with cash. We just want to make sure that everybody has an amazing experience and doesn't feel like they've been slighted in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, great. And for all of our listeners, we'll have all this information on our website, along with links over to the website to purchase tickets, email address if you need contact information, and of course, if you need anything, email me, askk@locogringo.com, and I can get you all the information, put you in touch with Diane. But you don't want to miss this event coming up. It's going to be an absolutely spectacular event here in Tulum, and we're real excited about it. Diane, man, you rock.
Thank you, but so do you. You're great. You're great doing this, by the way. You should be on the radio all the time, full time. I'm like, damn, she's got the voice and everything and the personality. Seriously. I'm like, huh.
Well, if I ever give up my day job,
There it is. I'm telling you, you were meant to be the disc jockey for high-end radio. I'm telling you.
You're too funny. Well, I can't wait. After the event, let's get together. We'll make a plan, and we shall have a tequila.
Yes,
and celebrate
please.
Your huge success and talk about next year already.
Yes, please. Thank you so much again.
Well, are you inspired now to move down here? Do you want to move down here and have a little place of your own? Well, then you need to talk to our friends at By Playa. They have a friendly and knowledgeable international staff. They speak lots of languages, and they are known as being a buyer's agent. Well, what does that mean? That means they are only going to show you and sell you properties they know that have escrituras, and escritura is a title. And it's part of their due diligence to make sure the title is clear, there's no liens, and that the person who's selling the property is actually the owner. By Playa works with lawyers that specialize in fideicomisos, which is a Mexican trust. You may have heard of it already before. And they can address things such as capital gains problems immediately and right up front, so that you have no surprises along the way to closing. So contact our friends at By Playa at buyplaya.com. A big muchas gracias to all of you for tuning in today. But before you go, no, don't go yet. If you're inspired to grab a last-minute flight to Cancun and come down to the Tulum Food, Spirit, and Wine Festival, contact us at locogringo.com, and we can help you find a great place to stay. Or if you're thinking about coming down this winter, escape some of that cold weather up north, our team of people here, we know the area like the back of our hands. We love it, and we want to share all the great information we have. We can not only help you find the ideal place to stay, but we can give you information about itineraries, restaurant recommendations, of course, and some of our favorite things to do and see.
Thanks for listening. If you like the show, be sure to subscribe. For links, show notes, and more information, head on over to locogringo.com or give us a call toll-free at 800-478-0081.
Porque se tragó la luna, está estaba enferma la rana. Su madre soba que soba, dedos de pluma la panza. Pensó ranita que luna era una toronja blanca. Y aunque la luna es de leche, la leche estaba cortada. Croa, croa, dedos de pluma. Croa, croa, dedos de agua. Croa, croa.